Morning. This is a new one for the Bike Farmer YouTube channel, but this is my other business, which is, I guess, my main business. And during the bike season here in Wisconsin, we get like March through September. I am in what's known as the BikeMobile, which is a mobile bike shop that operates in Madison, Wisconsin. I live about a half hour outside of Madison, so every morning I got a bit of a drive into work. But the way it works is I have a website, thebikemobile.com, and people local to the area don't schedule appointments if you live in Timbuktu, but if you're in the Madison, Wisconsin area, you can schedule an appointment with me, and I'll hop in my van with my workshop in the back right here, and I will come to your house and tune up your bicycles. So, my calendar is wide open Monday through Friday to anybody in the area to do that. I get what I get and I don't throw a fit, but there is a little bit of appointment wrangling on my end. Today I've got 3 stops. The first one is in McFarland, which is a suburb basically, just a little town just south of town. It's for 2 full tune-ups. So a 2-biker. That was at 10 o'clock, but I've asked to come early, and it's about 8:30 right now, and I should be there in about 5 minutes. And then after that, I go to Sun Prairie, which is an east suburb, a little bit bigger than McFarland, but we have a multi-bike appointment, which is 3 or more bikes, and there are no notes, no nothing. Never had any contact with this person, but I kind of tell now, like, just how appointments come in and how the forms are filled out. You know, I don't suspect any problems. It's probably just a nice family with some bikes in their garage that need fixing. So I charge a group rate for those, but my philosophy is everything gets a full tune-up, or a basic tune-up. Full tune-up's a little more extensive. If somebody schedules a full tune-up, and I get there and I'm like, no, you just need the basics. I downgrade it and I don't charge them the full price or anything. I'm pretty fair about that sort of thing. And on the flip side, sometimes you get people that are just like, I'll just schedule the basic and see what happens. And I get there and it's a commuter bike that needs everything replaced. And I let people know, I'm like, no, there's going to be a little bit extra here. And they're usually pretty understanding. Anyway, after my multi-bike appointment, I have another one which is going to be interesting. This is an 80s Huffy Aerowind road bike, which some of you bike nerds out there might know a little bit about these. They're Huffies, don't get me wrong. A Huffy's a Huffy. However, some of these, depending on when they were born and where they were born and how they've been taken care of, they actually have like kind of low-end Shimano parts and are kind of interesting bikes. And the guy scheduled an ultimate service, which is $250 labor. It's strip the bike down and rebuild it. And I called him and I was like, wait a second here, something's not adding up. And kind of cleared it with him and talked it through. And he's like, look, I just really like this bike and I'm willing to put a few $100 into it if we need to, because I just like it. And I said, okay, I'm going to come out and do my best with it. And I explained, a Huffy's a Huffy, but I can generally get these Aerowinds working okay. And, I don't feel right about spending a lot of money. Anyway, we'll get there when we get there. But that's kind of how it is in the mobile world. I don't see the bikes before the service is scheduled. So there's a little bit of, back and forth and, kind of walking some fine lines, and there's a give and take, and the expectations are a little bit looser than your typical shop environment where you have service writing and you talk through the problems and people sign up for it. People have signed up for these tune-ups, and I have never really had a problem with people feeling like I'm overcharging. If anything, they say I'm undercharging a lot of the time, which is interesting. But anyway, I may, depending on how this first appointment goes in the morning, and because I'm going to be starting an hour and a half ahead of time, I may decide to try to get a hold of the Aerowind guy, because he's also in Sun Prairie, and try to do him first before doing the multi-bike thing. Because if I can take the last appointment of the day, get it done early in the day, and then I get some time off this afternoon. So that's something that I I don't try to do it every day, but if it makes sense geographically and how the bikes are going early in the day, you know, or if I can kind of see on the schedule, you know, take the last one, bump it down into the morning, all of a sudden I've got 2 hours off in the afternoon. That's how I get my bike rides in, or take a nap, or, you know, take care of some errands, or hang around the shop, or, you know, do something. I'm gonna hang up and follow my navigation. I suppose I should hang up and navigate and be safe. See you in a minute. All right. So we are coming up on our destination here. Looks like it's this place on the corner. So we've got kind of a steep driveway here. So that's not gonna work. Get the neighbor out of the way. I'm gonna park right here in the street. That neighbor thinks I'm filming them. I've been in the shop all week and haven't had a really good chance to throw away the garbage or take my Costco stuff into the house, so it's kind of filthy in here, but I don't know why I saved that garbage. And this is always fun because sometimes the customers are waiting for me and sometimes they're not, so we'll see. And this might freak them out to be on video, but all right, he's there. Okay, so it turned into a 3-biker. He threw this mountain bike into the mix. This is his kid's mountain bike, and he said he was gonna schedule something for next month, and I said, why not do it right now? So we got to put a new tire on it and tune it up. And then these two are just a couple of hybrids that look to be in somewhat decent shape, and they were both born in, well, I don't know, one of them was born at a sporting goods store and the other one at a bike shop, but they should tune up fine. So I always like it when we add a bike to the mix. Works out for both of us. Here's the van. All right, here we are. We got this is the extra bike. I'm starting with it because it needs the most work and is going to cause the most trouble. Look at that. Snow! It's snowing in here. All right. Got a very, very, very loose rear hub and a very, very bald front tire. Those are the two biggest issues. I forgot to grab my chain checker, but I'm gonna check the chain on it. And yeah, it's very stretched. I'm gonna have to clear that with him. He wants a new chain and cassette here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's all 9-speed stuff. I think it's still gonna be worth it for him. So yeah, I'm gonna have to cut this lock off of it too. Should we try that quick? Get all of it at once. Kind of get half of it. There we go. Just take your cable cutter, chomp away at it. Bike locks aren't that tough, but they're good theft deterrent. I'm gonna call the customer. Okay, I talked to the customer, and he has opted for making it rideable. Man, I don't know. Now I'm discovering something here. Yeah, see, this is how it goes sometimes in the van, and it's pretty frustrating. I might have to call him again and just be like, yeah. You know, I did offer him $50 trade-in, you know, and then I can deal with it at the shop and rebuild the whole thing, and you know, I'd make a little bit of money on it, but yeah, this is an interesting one. I'm gonna dig into this hub. If this is a free hub issue, I don't know, it's like super worn out. This bike has been totally ridden beyond its maintenance, and it's just showing lots of signs of wear. So anyway, the customer did opt for just doing the basics and making it rideable. So maybe I'll just do that and take my $100 and get out of here. But yeah, it's for a 17-year-old tall kid, and it's a small bike. So I don't know. I'm gonna hang up and look into this a little bit more and see if I can do the right thing here. Yeah, okay, so I looked at this and the free hub is pretty much worn out or something, and I don't have the right wrench to really do it. But everything else is worn out too, and the guy's cool with it. It's definitely not what I like to do. I like to make things right. I don't like to just get them working. But it's cleared with the customer, and I think there's an understanding here. And I'm gonna go with it. As much as it hurts, I'm gonna go with it. So I'm gonna finish this one up, and we'll get the next one in the stand, and hopefully things will start going smoother today, because if it goes like this all day, this is gonna get interesting. Okie dokes. We got that one out of the stand, and now we've got this one in. So this is a Fuji hybrid, and it came from Shields, which is a sporting goods store that actually I think has a somewhat decent bike shop in it. You know, it's a good bike, and hasn't been ridden much cleaner than the other one. And this is just going to be a standard basic tune-up, which shouldn't surprise me. Wish me luck. Here we are with bicycle number 3. You can see, whoop, 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 whoop. This one's been sitting with flat tires for a while. But I think it's a straightforward tune-up. Gonna lube the cables, go through everything, clean it, check all the bolts, make sure everything's tight, tune it up. Just thought I'd add something here. So this bike came from the bike shop that I learned most everything that I know about bikes at. And I know that the standards that shop has, as far as bicycle assembly or tune-ups or refurbishing used bikes or anything like that, and the standards are pretty high. You know, like there's a lot of respect for the actual bicycle instead of just the sale, or respect for making a customer happy or something like that. But there's like pride and ownership in the actual mechanical functioning of the bicycle and the well-being of the machine, which is kind of what I'm into too. So these are always easy bikes to tune up, basically, because they've been respected along the way. So it's always nice when I come across one that, you know, maybe has been sitting in a garage for too long and needs a tune-up, but it goes well. And that's what's happening here. Okay, well, that went pretty well. Customer was happy, and he even came out and said that he sent a message out to his neighborhood association to let them know about the BikeMobile and how easy it was. And I love it when that happens, because his neighborhood was absolutely perfect. He was like, oh, the whole cul-de-sac is just families like ours, you know. So, you know, that's what it is. We're after the bikes that are hanging up in the garages. I don't go after the cyclists. They all have cycling stores to go to. I just want their bikes that are hanging up and, you know, or just sitting there for a year, you know. That neighborhood's great because there's a bike path that connects to the main path network in Madison. They can go around the lakes, and so I expect to get some more business out of that one. Heading to Sun Prairie for what I think is going to end up being 4 or 5 more bikes for the afternoon. Probably stop along the way and grab a bite to eat. I mean, it's time for a second breakfast. Probably my favorite meal of the day. I might even get donuts today. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, we're at the second appointment of the day here in Sun Prairie. 3 bikes is what it was. I've been here before. I know this customer's bikes, and they're in very good condition. There's not a whole lot to do on them. Some people book these appointments once a year, as I suggest, just to make sure that everything is in place, everything's in order. You know, it's a good time to just have a professional look through everything and discover things. So these bikes get ridden, but I don't expect to find anything wrong. So I'm just, it's a lot of cleaning, and, you know, your typical lubrication and maybe a little bit of adjustment. I don't expect to find anything out of the ordinary with any of them, but he's got this road bike and then 2 fat bikes. So I'll show you those when I get to them. Yeah, we got ourselves a fat bike with some pretty beefy pogies on them. Them handlebars. Yeah, the customer was complaining about this squishy rear brake, which is probably just a brake bleed situation, but I don't really bleed brakes in here. I mean, I don't carry all the stuff and don't really offer it on the website because it's time consuming and messy and you need so much stuff and it's just not that straightforward, at least for me. So that's a little frustrating, but the rest of the bike I'll get cleaned up, and this brake feels great if you pump it a couple times. I don't think it's just a brake pad situation, but yeah, you know, it's a fat bike and it's been ridden this year and it's got salt and grime, so a little bit more than a cleaning, a little bit more than a pump and polish, but not a whole lot more. It's pretty straightforward. So here we go. Check in with the next one. Fat bike number 2. Whoop. And we should probably tighten that seat clamp. Not much to report on here. This is gonna be an easy one, but bike number 6 for the day. Pretty good day. We still have that Huffy Aero whatever thing coming up. I texted the guy, we're going to be a little early. Hopefully that one goes well. That's the real wild card of the day. It is April Fool's Day. I expect things to go crazy. We'll see. This one's not going to go crazy. This will be easy. I've had to replace chains on the last 2 bikes, so they were harder than I thought. All right, I'm rolling to the next one. I'm going to go find the Huffy. The last one was a real easy one. Yeah, I like those once in a while. It's a repeat customer. He's just happy to have the maintenance done. We replaced a couple of chains. He's gonna put on some big miles this year, he thinks. Awesome, everybody wins. This next one, it's gonna be interesting. The Huffy Aerowind. Look it up. It's a 1982 Huffy Aerowind. I mean, there's some interesting things about him on the internet. Well, we've got the Aerowind. Here it is, the Huffy Aerowind. Look at that, aero tubing. And it's pretty much what I expected, but as far as Huffy Aerowinds go, this one's pretty good. So I don't think we're gonna have any problems. Knock on wood. I don't have any wood in here. Knock on, here it is. We are gonna put new tires on it. Talked them into that. So tires and tubes. And the rest of it, it's just cleaning, a little bit of lube, you know, a little bit more or less the basics. Well, she tuned up okay. Put some new tires on it, that helped. These brakes are very interesting. You know, we'll never really be able to replace the pads. But somebody retaped the bars at some point and put some new cable housing on. And as long as we keep it lubed, it'll run for a while. Keep things tight so it doesn't rattle apart. The wheels are true. It's actually been touched by a real mechanic before. The Aerowind. You want your bike aero, you just throw your seat tube and down tube in a big vise, smush it, make it aero. Phase 1 complete. Well, that's it. Yeah, the the Huffy Aerowind. I don't know. So yeah, I had a little bit of everything today. It was actually a pretty good day to do this, you know. We got surprised by that one this morning that I couldn't really do what I like to do. You know, it just didn't make sense for the customer, but we figured it out, you know, just a quickie tune-up to get it rideable. You know, I really believe that there's rideable and there's right. And sometimes rideable is good enough. You know, I'm a professional, so I try to make it right wherever I can. And that's what I encourage people to do. But, you know, sometimes it doesn't make as much sense, so that's okay. And then the middle appointment with those 3 bikes, it was good that, you know, I mean, I tell people all the time, like, once a year, get a basic tune-up. You know, it's not that expensive. It won't break your bank, but we can check your chain, brake pads, you know, things that could cause bigger issues if we, you know, don't get to them in time. And just kind of stay ahead of things, you know, real maintenance. And for people that ride a lot, that's definitely the way to go. And so for regular cyclists, I think that's the way to go. So we got a little bit of that. And then this guy, which was just kind of an oddball appointment, which honestly, when this was scheduled, I thought it was an April Fool's joke. And I thought it was a friend messing with me or something. So I sent the message and was like, hey, please call me about your bike appointment. And he called, and he's just a nice guy who really liked this bike. So who am I to say differently? And we talked it through, and he wanted to spend a ton of money, and I told him it's just not necessary. It's not something I'd be comfortable doing. And I think I gained his trust, and he believed me. It wasn't, I was able to protect his dignity, and, you know, it gets kind of weird sometimes. So here I am, middle of the afternoon. I have all my appointments done. I had a few emails come in. Got an appointment from the guy that messaged his neighborhood. So future business, I would call it a successful day. I might, and the sun came out, so the snow is all melting. Probably should go for a bike ride. I'll probably check in when I pull into the shop and park the van and go see the kitties. All right, pulling into the bike farm. End of the day. I'm gonna take this spot over here. I'll move the van later. That pile hasn't gotten any bigger, neither has any of the other ones. All right. That's pretty much it. Gonna unpack the van and figure out something to do. Well, I managed to get the van cleaned out. Emptied the garbage. You know, it's a Friday. So, I don't run the van on the weekends. Hang around the shop for the weekends. So it's time to park the van, I guess. I don't really have a good spot. So I do have this carport. Ooh, look at that. It shows up pretty good. That's where I put the vans in the winter and sometimes during the summer, but I've got a car that goes there that's in the shop, and then my main car is parked there, so I'm just gonna go park next door for a little bit. Oh, there's my tandem on my roof. And yeah, so that's what it is. That's a day in the BikeMobile. It's a day's worth of work. Oh, I know what I gotta do. In the van here, I gotta flip my switch so I don't drain my battery over the weekend. All right, thanks for tuning in. This is the Bike Farmer, Andy Q, signing out for the weekend.